your mission, should you choose to accept it. So essentially right now, you have the opportunity, should you choose not to distract yourself with bullshit, to look inside your own soul and figure out what you need to let go of. What have you been clinging to in your personality, in your relationships, in your character, in your way of thinking that no longer serves you? Who is in your life that negatively influences you? Why do you allow them in your life? What part of your personality feeds off of the negativity that these situations or people are offering you? Where do you lie to yourself about this negativity? That's one very important thing to look at this week. For example, it might be, I have a dead-end job, I hate it, it makes me miserable, I have no other option to leave it because this is how I make money. So instead of rising to the occasion of doing the research and spending the next 1 hour a week for the possibly 5 years figuring out how to make a lateral move to something that suits you better, you stay comfortable in the toxic environment because it feeds a part of you that you are afraid to release. That's truth. I'm just going to let that sink in for a minute. Think about that. Where are you clinging to and refusing to release or acknowledge negativity in your life, in yourself, in your environment, in the people around you? Where are you refusing to let it go? And where does it feed your own toxicity? Those are hard questions to ask. That's what we call shadow work. Shadow's not bad, but you can't integrate it and you can't become the beast that you were meant to be if you don't acknowledge the aspects that need to be grown through and changed. Flip side of that, golden shadow. What's the golden shadow? The golden shadow is a term from a YouTube channel, Sabrina Lynn's Rewilding, and it talks about the potentials that you have yet untapped, that you haven't accessed, that you're too afraid possibly to access, or that you haven't acknowledged about yourself. Maybe when you were 5 years old, you really thought that you were going to become an artist, and then your dad came in and said, boys can't draw, what the fuck's wrong with you? Get a life, get a job, go be a plumber. And you did something similar. And even though your life is totally functional and you're fine, back in your brain, you've always had an inclination towards making art. But now it's been such an amount of time that you just couldn't possibly bear the idea of sucking at it for 2 years, right? Or perhaps you have a natural inclination towards helping people and you've gotten locked into relationships where you've been giving all of yourself and getting nothing back, right? Distractions aplenty. So I challenge you to take a look at your untapped and unaccessed potential. Where are you holding yourself back? Where are you playing small? Where are you afraid to be as big as you are? And it might be in areas that are surprising. For example, for some of you, it could be commitment. Perhaps you're afraid to commit to moving to a new place. It's too scary. How could you leave your friends and your family behind? Perhaps some of you are afraid to commit to a relationship because you're afraid of getting hurt. Perhaps some of you are afraid to commit to going back to school. Who are you at 55 years old to reaccess the educational system and spend money or not trying to get scholarships or what it were at your age? There are many ways that we limit ourselves and that we don't access our full potential. But right now, we are on the verge of a transition into a new planetary era as far as the gravitational aspects of all the planets are concerned. We're shifting into a whole new paradigm. Do you want to stay the same as you've been, or do you want to tap into your full potential and take small steps towards accessing the possibilities that are limitless to you? That's a question to ask yourself right now, especially. Do the work. And that leads me to the other point, is distractions. When was the last time that you just got up in the morning and sat there, whether it's with your tea or your banana or your coffee or a glass of water, hopefully first, and were just in stillness? When was the last time that you didn't have your phone or your TV or a guitar or a video game or a person to talk to or even a book, and you just sat in absolute stillness? How are you supposed to hear your inner voice if you're always surrounded by distractions? I'm just going to let that sink in a moment. Rewind that if you need to. How are you supposed to hear your inner voice if you're constantly surrounded by distractions? Right? Where are you distracting yourself? What happens when you're undistracted? Do you get bored? Do you get lonely? Do you get afraid? Do you get angry? What feelings come up for you? That is a key for you, because underneath that, you will find the truth of your desire, or the truth of your pain, or the depth of your pain. And in that pain or feeling or whatever arises in stillness, that is where you're going to access that little tiny voice that maybe you've been ignoring. And that little tiny voice is actually your intuition. It's your gut instinct. It's your gut brain. We got head brain, we got heart brain, we got gut brain, somatic brain, nervous system brain, multiple brains working in tandem in the body. You know? So sit in stillness and take a look at your shadow and take a look at your golden shadow. What are you clinging to that's bad for you in yourself, in your environment, and with others? What are you not accessing in your full potential? How can you do that? What possibilities await you underneath all of it when you sit in stillness? You're a lot wiser than you think that you are, truly. You just have to start listening to yourself. And in order to do that, you need to remove the distractions, and you need to be honest about where you're shitty and where you're great. Because we're all like that. We're all not as nice as we think we are, and we're all much nicer than we think we are at the same time. It's this and it's that. So I just wanted to stop in and bring some wisdom to my community of humans orbiting beneath. And I wish you much growth, much love, much light, much ferocity, much bliss, and an unplugging from the distractions and the bullshit that dim your light. Whether that's bullshit that you're creating or that you're allowing other people to put into your life. So these are big questions to ask yourself right now as we move forward into an entire new era. Again, do you want to move forward as the same person you've always been? Or do you want to take the steps, the initiative, no matter how small, towards accessing your highest potential? That's what I want for you. That's what I want for the world, and you damn well better bet that's what I'm doing for myself. So join me on the journey, and yeah, in love and light, stay metal.